Safety first. This is a PSA, a public service announcement, or a personal safety announcement as you prefer. As you can see, I'm on the coast. I'm currently in Playa Santa Marianita, Ecuador, and the coast is well known for a lot of scams and pickpockets and other kinds of things of that nature. A lot of expats and tourists have unpleasant experiences here, so I'm going to share with you in this video a handful of ideas to keep those things from happening to you. My name's Steve. This is Street Smart Travel. Today is January 14th, 2025, and that's the Pacific Ocean behind me. I would love to be filming this down on the beach, but all you would hear is the waves crashing, so you can still hear those up here, and hopefully you can hear me over them. So, without further ado, let me set this up to say that things are not as dangerous now on the coast as they were over the last couple of years. There was a period of time, I want to say it was 2023, where I just kept reading about these things in the paper. There had to be like 5 or 6 mayors in these coastal towns that had been assassinated. And that was one of the things that led to the ongoing state of emergency, it's been over a year now, against the narcos and the drug gangs. So I haven't seen anything like that happen, probably mostly because they called in the military and stepped up the situation to deal with that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of petty crime that goes on the coast, where people, they don't want to hurt you, they just want your stuff. And there's a handful of things you can do to fly under the radar and to make sure that you are not a victim to any of these things. I do here want to say that I've been down here for over 2 years. Ecuadorians have been lovely to me across the board. The indigenous population here, the Ecuadorian population, everybody. These people that are committing these crimes are a very, very, very tiny minority of the people in the country. They're not hardened criminals. I get the sense that they're not doing it because they want to do it, they're doing it because they need to eat. And they haven't figured out a better way to get money, so they figure they can target tourists and just steal stuff, which in their minds, like this person is here from another country, they can afford to travel down here. If I steal their iPhone or their whatever, drones, popular, they can just go buy another one. And I can sell the drone and have money for rent and food and whatever, right? So I don't condone any of those actions, but I also don't think these are hardened criminals who are out to cause harm to anybody. Having said that, it's a good idea to fly under the radar and to be aware of things so that you don't end up in situations where you are victimized in those ways. And to set this video up, I'll start with 3 tips that I was given from my hosts. The last farm I was at, volunteering at up north, I told them I was going to Mompiche, and they said, okay, 3 things we tell everybody that's going to the coast, and I've been told these things and similar things every time I mention I'm going to the coast. Locals, expats, they all tell me the same kinds of things. Thing number 1, do not go out alone. Good idea, not always practical. I travel alone. I've met a lot of people that travel alone, men and women. They hadn't had any issues for the most part because they're paying attention and they don't put themselves in compromising situations. So if you know somebody, maybe you're traveling alone, but you meet somebody along the way and you like and trust them, and you go with them to go to the beach or a restaurant or whatever, a nightclub, whatever it happens to be, better if you can do it with somebody you know and trust as opposed to alone. I violate that one all the time. That's not going to change. I've been traveling alone for decades. I've had a couple issues, but nothing serious. Thing number 2, do not ever accept drinks from anybody. The way this was presented to me at first was, okay, you go to the coast, you're in Montañita, where everybody's partying, a lot of alcohol, drugs, surfers, hippies, whatever, right? It's a party town. Not my scene. I'm not going to a club anyways, but for the sake of argument, let's say I go to a restaurant or a club one night, and I'm sitting at the bar alone, having a drink, and next thing I know, an attractive young woman comes up and starts chatting me up, and let's say my drink is over here, and she's over there, and I'm not paying attention. Her accomplice comes in, slips something into my drink. Next thing I know, I'm passed out at the bar. The bartender's probably in on it. Again, they don't want to hurt you, they just want to take your stuff. And in that scenario, I would wake up and my money's gone and my phone's gone and whatever else I had is gone, right? And that's on me for not paying attention. and being an easy mark. That's not the only situation, and I'll actually share a story with you that these same people related to me after giving these same pieces of advice to another volunteer they had there. So 1, don't go out alone. 2, never accept drinks from anybody. And 3, never go out alone after dark. That one I would think would be common sense, but it's not always common practice. And that's, nighttime is usually when bad things are going to happen anyways. The word Ecuador literally means equator. The equator runs through this country. That means that at 6:30 every night, the sun sets. So by 7 o'clock, 7:15, it's dark until sunrise the next day. So trying to not go out at night when you're down here, it's kind of tricky. You can do it. I don't generally go out after the sun goes down, but if I do, I'm very aware of what's going on around me and aware of multiple exits if anything does come up and I need to make a quick escape. As to the drinks, this is my water bottle. It is beat to hell. $3, I think, at the time. It's probably closer to 5 or 6 now at Dollarama in Peterborough, Canada. This thing goes with me every time I leave my place. It's always in my backpack or it's in my hand. It is never out of my sight. Nobody's getting close to that to be able to mess with it, put something into it, drug me, whatever the case may be. Not gonna happen. $3, $5, even $10, whatever. If you have your own water bottle that's always full of water, you're not gonna be tempted to accept a drink from somebody. Right? I don't mean in a bar, I mean when you're walking down the street. So let me illustrate with a story. Again, my host told me those 3 things. Don't go out alone, don't accept drinks from anybody, and definitely don't go out alone after dark. They gave that same advice to another volunteer who was also going to Monpiche, and this is years ago. And they said, okay, good, thanks. I went to the coast. I went out alone in the daytime, so okay, not a cardinal sin. But then they're walking down the street and somebody just offered him a drink, right? Like a homeowner on the side of the road. Hey, yeah, it's really hot out. Here's, I got a nice cold beer for you if you want, and you can hang out on my hammock, cool off for a bit, and then continue on your way. Great, yeah, thanks, I appreciate it, right? So totally violated. Number 2, do not accept drinks from anybody. Next thing you know, the guy's passed out. When he regains consciousness, his phone, gone. His wallet, gone. His shoes, gone. Right? He was stripped of everything that had any value. His watch, whatever it was, wakes up in the hammock. Probably the beer was gone for that matter. Super easy to avoid ending up in that situation by following those 3 very simple rules. And not just on the coast in Ecuador, those are good rules to follow traveling, especially through developing countries, third world countries, or just traveling in general. When you don't know anybody and you don't know what's going on, better to be safe than sorry. So if I was in that situation walking down the street and it's hot and somebody offers me a drink, I will come up with any number of tactful reasons why I can't. Oh no, sorry, I gotta go meet a friend, I'm in a hurry, or yeah, don't worry, I have a drink in my bag. Show them the water bottle, and right, that's it, I'm not drinking. And maybe they don't have ulterior motives, but maybe they do, and I don't want to find out one way or the other. Another really important one, do not be walking around with your phone out. And especially with your head, your face buried in your phone, right? And this is more for younger people. People my age, in their 50s, I don't generally see them playing on their phones very much, but younger people, I see it all the time. And you're really vulnerable when you're not paying attention. You're in an unfamiliar environment, you don't know anybody, different culture, different language, different everything. That immediately makes you an easy mark. Right? So avoid that one. Keep your phone in your pocket. You don't need to be on it all the time anyways. Heresy, I know. Generally, what I will do is dress down. So I have clothes that are clean, but they might not look clean. They might have stains on them. They definitely have holes in them. I'm not wearing a watch. I don't have any jewelry. I'm not trying to stand out in any way. Like, hey, look at me. I got, great clothes and nice shoes and a necklace or phone or whatever it is. Don't need to be wearing that stuff in advertising. They already know that you're not from there, clearly, right? And this was a big reason why I wanted to set up this channel, was to pass on tips like this. So if you're getting value out of this, or you're learning something, or you know somebody who's thinking about traveling and maybe is a little naive or inexperienced or green on the road, please send this video out to them. Very simple tips. This can be the difference between getting ripped off and not getting ripped off. Right? There's no guarantee, but the more you take yourself out of harm's way, the better off it's going to be for you. I will say that I've been down here over 2 years, haven't had issues with anybody. Nobody's tried to steal anything from me. They try to rip me off occasionally, cab drivers, and you get, they call it gringo pricing. You'll get gringo priced now and again. I know how much things cost, so that doesn't really happen to me. I also carry myself in a way, let's say with shoulders back, very erect posture, and I basically give off a don't mess with me vibe. Very nice to people, very polite, very proper. I know enough Spanish swear words that if things get heated, I can lay it down, no, this is not gonna happen, find somebody else, right? I am not your mark. So, those 3 tips again. Don't go out alone. Yeah, that one I would bend on. Do not accept drinks from anybody, ever. Do not go out alone after dark. Don't be playing on your phone. If you're in a bus station or on a street, like, I would love to be walking down the beach or further up the beach with the gimbal and my phone, but I don't need to advertise to anybody, oh, I've got some, and my phone isn't nice. It's 2.5 years old, it's almost toast. My gimbal isn't particularly nice, but it's just, hey, look at me, I have this stuff. No. Hey, look at anybody else but me. I want to look as poor as I possibly can. I want to dress like I'm homeless. And in that way, I end up staying off the radar, and whoever it is that maybe is looking for an easy mark decides, yeah, this guy doesn't have anything, so why am I going to waste my time trying to rob somebody that's broke? Right? Much rather have that than be walking around thinking I'm, the greatest guy ever with my shiny new clothes and my fancy phone and my nice shoes and whatever it happens to be. So again, hopefully you got value out of that. I'm Steve. This is Street Smart Travel. And with that, I will say happy trails and see you out on the road.